Another beautiful Friday when we get to discuss matters with Reference Bureau. Today we touch topic the dynamics of DCPs, the dynamics of DCPs sharing information to CRBs, and how they and their benefits to a Kenyan borrower or a borrower for that matter. My name is Lawrence Baraza, a digital strategist, Metropole, and with me here is my colleague.
My name is Sam Orero. I am one in charge of DCPs and MFI's credit only. Yeah.
So we'll jump straight into questions. And as stressed, the topic is dynamics of DCPs sharing information to CRBs and their benefits to borrowers. Sam,
Yes.
what are DCPs? What are digital credit providers in Kenya? What defines them and how do they operate within the financial landscape in the country?
DCPs is a word that really came when fintechs disrupted the market. You know, when the fintechs, when they disrupted the market in terms of lending, we used to have only banks that were lending, and the credit access was so minimal. And what happened is that we thank God for giving people innovation that they could come up with fintechs where now they could be able to lend money even to the people that are in the interior sites. So what happened is that the way they are lending money is not a conventional way the banks used to initially, because this one, they use an app. It is different. You know, you go to the bank and the bank will be able to, you have to walk to a bank physically. That is why we are saying the conventional way of lending. The bank has to see your face. But digital lending is where now we use an app. As long as you have a mobile phone, you can be able to download the application and be able to apply for a loan. And you don't need to interact face to face with
With a bank.
Or a lender, the DCP, the digital credit provider. The only thing you do, you have to, as long as you have downloaded the app, you are able now to access the loan. So it is different from the way the banks were able to lend initially. So that's the major difference between the lending from banks or SACCOs and the digital credit providers.
Based on your explanation, which is quite elaborative,
Yeah.
I wanted to make it quite clear.
Yes.
Because you said I have to download an app, means I must have a smartphone. What happens to that person in the rural area who doesn't have access to a smartphone? Are they benefiting from DCPs?
Yeah, they do. Actually, most of the digital credit providers have a USSD code. You can dial a USSD code and be able to access the loans still through the registration. So still they have provided that channel where they can be able to access loans, even if you do not have a smartphone where you can be able to download the app. Actually, the key changer is if you have an access to a telephone, you are able to access credit through these digital credit providers. Yeah.
In the advent of coronavirus pandemic,
Yeah.
which unfortunately affected so many Kenyans and businesses,
Yeah.
we saw a number of regulations right from the national government and the Central Bank of Kenya.
Sure.
And by this, I understand Tala is one of them.
Yeah, they are.
Isn't
They are
it?
being licensed.
They are being licensed.
Yeah.
Central Bank of Kenya came up with a number of regulations
Yeah.
in the wake of coronavirus pandemic, and Tala and those other DCPs were told that you either get to be regulated or you ship out.
Mhm.
So far, as we speak today, how many DCPs have been licensed?
Um, there are 32 that have been licensed by CPK, have been given the license, now they can be operating in Kenya. Yeah.
Do we have a specific, do we have, well, could you give specific DCPs, maybe just five of them that
Five
have
of
been
them.
licensed so far? So that, because I have a friend of mine who
Yeah.
once reached out and said he tried accessing a loan from a certain
Yeah.
DCP,
Yes.
and he was given a crazy interest rate within a very short period.
Yeah.
I want to believe those are still not compliant who are operating in
Yeah.
the current financial market, which is very unfortunate. Uh, can you give at least five DCPs which are currently operating in the country and are licensed by the Central Bank of Kenya?
As you said, Tala is one of them. They have been given a license to operate. Number two is Little Pesa Limited. They have been given also a license to operate in Kenya. We have 40 Generation as a DCP. We have Kweli Smart Solutions. We have Ngao Credit that have been given a license. There is also Soko Hela. It's one of the DCPs that have been given license. There is also Mkopa Loans Kenya. Yes. Yeah. But those are some of them that are.
From the number, out of the number you mentioned,
Yeah.
I'm only familiar with two, the copper and the Tala. But you could keep the list going
Yeah.
if you are familiar with those who have been licensed. We should be limited. I think you mentioned six.
Yeah.
Mm.
There is also my wage pay.
Mm.
There is Mwanzo Credit.
Mm.
There is also Reward Zero. There is Cold Cause. Those are some of them that have been given the license to operate in Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in line with these DCPs being licensed,
Yeah.
how beneficial are their licenses or their regulations? How beneficial are they to a Kenyan borrower? How different are these regulations? How different are they compared to past when they are not being regulated? What is the difference?
You know, the reason why initially the market was not regulated, but there are some rogue digital lenders that also invaded the market, and they were using very pathetic ways of collection. So once you are applying for a loan, they could ask you for a reference, and maybe they will ask you maybe for a close relative, and then the other one is maybe a colleague or a friend. And for them, if they asked you for a reference, I think they doubt that you are guaranteeing them for that loan. So you are not even informed, even if you have been put there as a reference, you have not been informed that so and so has taken a loan and has really put your name here as a reference. So what happened if the borrower could not be able to repay the loan as per the due date? Some rogue digital lenders could call even relatives. They will call your mother-in-law, they will call your mother, they will call your father, they will call your brothers, colleagues everywhere to tell them that you have refused to pay your loan, which was really not a good thing. And there was a public outcry on the way they were doing the collections. And because of that, Now, we wanted to, I think even the regulator saw that even the whole stakeholders saw it good that they needed to regulate the market so that they can do away with such rogue lenders. I think now, now that the space is regulated, the market is regulated, there is code of conduct now. No relatives are going to be called. The way the collection is going to be done is going to be done in a good way, where you are not going to be embarrassing the borrower to their relatives. So it has really helped in terms of uh, stimulating the market and making things look so good. So the regulation really helped us a lot in terms of stimulating the operations of that market. Now, even the interest rates, they are not as high as they used to be. The others we could even give at 45, even 100. So now that it is in this regulated space, even the interest rates are really down. Yeah.
You said 45% interest rate.
The others who used to give at that interest rate. Yeah. But now things have been made like banks, the way they cannot be able to go more than maybe certain level. Uh, the DCPs also operate on a certain level. Even you cannot put your app on Google if your interest rates they are not rhyming with what they are supposed to be.
With what CBK wants them
Yes,
to have.
yes, yes,
So do we have a kept interest rate in that regard for DCPs?
not really kept because also we are transitioning to risk-based pricing, where you are supposed to, if you have a good score, you are supposed to go and negotiate with the bank. They can be able to give you good interest, even at DCP, because you've been borrowing there and you have a good score. You need to be negotiated so that they can give you a good interest rate. You are not also supposed to be denied a loan because your score is not good, but you can be able to negotiate the interest rates, but not extreme interest rates. They are not supposed to be charged.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said we only have 32 DCPs, or for those who do not understand, the DCPs are familiar with the term uh, mobile lenders,
The mobile lenders.
isn't it?
Yeah.
You said we have 32 of them.
Yes.
How many did we used to have before the regulation kicked in?
Uh, I cannot be able to tell you the exact number that we used to have in the market because maybe the ones that used to report to Metropole, they were 68 because it is an unregulated space. Some were not even reporting to Metropole because we have also others that used to report to the competitors. So for those that were with us were 68 used to share information with us. That is the credit history information to us. So that is why. But I saw that those that applied for licensing to CBK were 388, and the number is still growing. I'm suspecting that there are others who used to operate as a credit microfinance credit institutions, that is credit only. But those ones are not able to share the information to the bureau. Now they felt like because now this space has been regulated and once you get a license, you are able now to share that credit information to a bureau. they are, I think, shifted to become to call themselves digital lenders. I think that is why you can see a great number applying for the license, around more than 388 applying for license.
Some, you know, some people might not that mind. Some people are sort of, I'm sorry to use this word, but
Yes.
ignorant in terms of wanting to familiarize themselves with the current affairs
Yes.
with regards to credit market in Kenya.
Mhm.
At what point do I know that this mobile lender is licensed by CBK? Because I want to believe there are some which are still operating and are not licensed.
Yeah.
At what point do I know this is licensed by CBK, Tala is licensed, and Mkopa is not? Mkopa it is. So Tala is licensed, and
Fourth
let's say
generation.
fourth generation.
Or
Those are,
little
so
person.
how do I get to know that this mobile lender is regulated and this one is not? At what point do I get to understand that? Because I feel it is a lacuna in that area. Yeah. See, is it the bureau which hasn't done enough work in terms of letting people know that this mobile lender is regulated, or is it on the CBK part?
No. The CPK have done their part because they have already published that information on their website. If you want to know the digital lenders that have been licensed, actually even requires them to publish that information. They have done so. Even if you just Google, like you go to Google and ask even the licensed digital lenders, you will find from this central bank website how many have been licensed as digital credit providers. So the information is there. Yeah.
Okay.
It is you to now visit that website for central bank and be able to see the number of DCP license.
Sam, I would love you to talk about timeline for negative listing submission to CRBs
Yes.
for mobile money borrowers who default on DCP loans.
Yeah, you as a lender, DCP, you are not supposed to list negatively your customer if you have not given that customer a 30 days listing notice to notify that customer that your loan is overdue. You are supposed to repay this loan at a certain date. You haven't done so. We have given you 30 days to make the payments. So within the 30 days, you're giving that customer the notice, and the notice can be done through a text, or it can be done through a letter or an email. So you have to notify them, give them a 30 days pre-listing notice, or whichever the contract that you had signed. The regulation even give you at least not less than 14 or 15 days. But the standard one is 30 days pre-listing notice. And even if the customer does not respond within the 30 days, and you have shared that negative data to the bureau now after the expiry of 30 days, you are also supposed to send them a post-listing notice telling them that you have already shared now a negative information to a bureau. So uh, at least you have to inform that customer within that span of 30 days before you share that negative listing. Yeah.
Well, make me understand a little bit.
Yeah.
This 30-day notice, are you notifying me that I should pay, or are you notifying me that you're listing me to the bureau?
Both. I am supposed to tell you that You are supposed to make the payments. So if you are not going to make the payments within these 30 days, we will be able to share now your negative uh, credit information
To the
to
CRBs.
the CRBs.
Now, after those 30 days
Yeah,
have lapsed
Yeah.
and I haven't made payments,
yeah.
when do you share that information to CRBs?
After expire of the 30 days, the
Immediately.
DCP has now the mandate to share your negative list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, how does credit information shared to CRBs by mobile lenders, banks, and circles aid borrowers and influence
Yeah.
their financial standing?
You know what usually surprises me, even the way we interact with people out here. Once you tell people that you work with a bureau, that is a CRB bureau, they will react like, I hope I am not in CRB. And you are wondering, why are you saying so? Like people think that being in the bureau is a bad thing. It is not a bad thing to be in the bureau because what usually happens is that you can be in the bureau because your information is positive, or you are in the bureau because your information is negative. So being in the bureau and your information is positive is a good thing because, as I told you, that the Central Bank of Kenya has really approved some of the risk-based pricing models uh, for some banks. So what that means is that if you are in the bureau and your score is good, you can walk to these banks and be able to negotiate well the price in terms of the interest rates. Because if you have a good score, you deserve to be given a good rate. That is why these risk-based pricing models have been approved. So being in the bureau, your information being in the bureau is not really a bad thing to be in the bureau. It really gives you an advantage in terms of bargaining the interest rates that you are going to. Actually, you can just walk from one bank to another because this is now your strength. Like I have a good standings in terms of the credit score. Maybe you have 900, which is excellent. You can walk to, let's say, KCB or Stanbic. You see who gives me a good rate.
Interest rate.
Yes. So, and even when you are in negatively listed, it means that there is something that you're not doing well in terms of making repayments. It is a call that now you need to work on your scores. Actually, what now is supposed to be done in the market is that everyone here in Kenya should be working to make sure that you have a good score. That is the significance about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned twice
Yeah.
risk-based pricing.
Yes.
What is it?
There are models that have been built or established by banks so that now we use scores. Even the lenders previously, once they pulled your report from a bureau, they wanted to see whether you are negatively listed or not. They didn't want to know any other thing, whether you are positively listed or negatively listed. They and that is not the use of the scores. The use of the scores actually it should be if I have a good score, what are the benefits this course is going to give me in the market. Actually, in some other developed states or countries, if you have a good score, you can walk into an shop that deals with electronics or any other thing, pick whatever you want to pick because you have a good score, and then you will pay later. So that is number one because you have a good score. Even in Kenya here, these models have been approved by central bank. It means that you can walk to banks that have these models and be able to negotiate well the interest rates in terms of if you want to access the loan facility or credit facility. You can work there with your scores, and then you negotiate. You tell them, I have a good score here. Are you able to give me at this interest rate? So you can negotiate. You can walk to, if they're not giving you the better price, you can walk to another one. You compare. Whoever gives you a better rate, you can now then borrow from there.
Does it apply to mobile lenders?
Actually,
There is question. Does it apply to mobile lenders?
yeah, there are some who are doing so, but it is not something that has been embraced by digital lenders. But it is something that needs to be embraced so that if you have a good customer, you can who has been applying for these loans and are able to repay well and have a good score, I think you can give them. Actually, there are others that I know some DCPs that if you are a new customer, they will give you at a certain interest rate. But if you are an existing customer that have been borrowing, even if they have their own internal scoring models, if you are a repeat customer, they can give you at a good rate. So there are some who are practicing it. There are some who have given a standard rate, but we encourage them that they also embrace this risk-based scoring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since CBK started regulating the mobile lenders,
Yeah.
and you mentioned that those who submitted the application to the regulator, CBK that is,
Yeah.
close to 400. But those who have been licensed so far are 32.
Yeah.
And before the regulation, you say those who are subscribing to Metropole Credit Reference Bureau were 68.
Yeah.
Thereabout.
Sure.
What has been the financial implication as far as the regulations are concerned? From unregulated environment to the strictly regulated environment.
You know what used to happen is that the mobile digital lenders were able to give loans to the Kenyan market, even if at times it was at a higher interest rates, but people were able to access. You see, for now, there are only 32 that have been given the license. So it means that the access to these loans, maybe it is not as good as it used to be previously, because now you know sharing that information to the bureau is a soft way of collection. So you see now all these close to 400 have not been licensed, and they want to engage in this lending business. And even if some of them are doing it, the risk is so high because if you default, because most of the loans that they are giving out, they are unsecured. So the risk of default is very high. So, and if they are not sharing this information to the bureau, um, they feel like they might lose their capital, even in terms of even the interest that they're earning from these loans. So the amount that is now being given to the market is not really, like, for example, when they used to report that information to a CRB, they could just give even in terms of billions. But now they have really, they are very careful in terms of the amounts that they are lending out, because they are not very sure whether the customer is going to repay back. Actually, most of them, those that are still lending and have not been licensed, what they are doing, they are giving to their repeat customers.
Repeat customers.
So you see now, they are not. It is not open to the new customers. If you are a repeat customer and you are paying so well, so you can be able to access. But now the advantages to those that have been regulated, even Zenka Digital, they have been regulated. So they are the people now who are able to lend out, and they feel like if you are not going to repay the loan, I will still share that information to the bureau. And eventually, even if it will take time, you will repay my money back. Yeah.
Thanks for answering that, but I think you evaded my question, and perhaps I should reframe. I should reframe this question.
Yes.
What has been the revenue implication on the bureau side as far as these regulations are concerned?
Yeah.
From unregulated environment to regulated environment.
Revenue. I tell you, before the regulation, the revenue was high, because we had quite a good number that would be able to check the customer credit information from a bureau. So it means the numbers were high in terms of report usage. But now that we have only 32, and the 32, not all of them that are on, have started their operations in terms of even sharing data, and even they're supposed to do so, but maybe some of them, they are dealing with operational matters. So the revenue is not as much as it used to be, because the numbers.
Because of the numbers.
Yes.
So let's say these 388,
Yes.
these are now fully regulated. We are now back to the order.
If they
initial
are
numbers.
regulated, we will come back to the initial numbers in terms of revenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What has been your greatest achievement in the desk you sit, or on the desk you manage, the department you manage, rather?
Many things, but you know, this desk keeps on. It is a challenging one, because fintechs, they are people, or they are institutions that keep on evolving in other things. Let's say that this day they will ask you for this kind of information. Tomorrow they will have moved to something else. You know, fintechs are innovative in a way. Actually, even right now, as we talk about fintechs, previously fintechs were known for lending. The others now who are doing savings, the others who have even diversified to insurance. So there are also fintechs that do payments. So, and all these fintechs, they are looking for something. They are looking for information from the bureau to make some certain decisions. So every day you wake up, you will get different challenges, and be able to sit down with these DCPs and be able to develop specific products that they are looking for. You feel you have achieved something now that you have given them a solution that fits their needs. Yeah.
What is your greatest fear as a BDM?
The fear that mostly I have is central bank has been very slow in terms of approving the DCPs. You see, the last batch was on March this year. We haven't received any other batch. Uh, we had thought that after 2 months or after 3 months, we'll be getting a new batch after 2 months or 3 months. But we haven't received any approvals or license DCPs since March. And we had thought that we will have as many coming on board, but the process has been very slow. But we are still hoping that things will be able to work well. So the fear is if we continue doing this at this slow rate, we will not be able to achieve what we wanted to achieve.
By that you mean your revenue target, or?
Of course.
Actually, I was hoping that you done with the greatest fear. I was hoping you'd mention the squeezed liquidity in the market because cost of living is high.
No. You know, Kenyans have been very creative and innovative people. They know how to survive.
They always maneuver.
They always maneuver. They will come up with other new ways of surviving. I am not disappointed by Kenyans.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A positive feedback there. I think that would be all from my end, unless if you have something for Metropole Corporation customers out there from the managerial point of view.
Yeah. Just to let know all those that are doing digital lending that we have solutions for them that we customize, we listen to them to hear what they are, the kind of data that they are looking for to make any decision, because that is what we do in the market. We welcome them, we can listen to them and be able to develop such products for them. So they are welcomed. And even to the entire customers, the customers, the individuals that are trying to access the reports. You dial *433# so that you can be able to access your credit report and be able to know your score. The way I talked about that risk-based pricing really needs you to work on your scores to have an excellent score. Please just access. If you are not accessing through the USSD code, that is *433#, you can still download the app that is Cristobal, that is our Metropole app, where you can be able to access and see your report. If there is anything that you feel like is not like in terms of the data that has been shared by this DCP and you don't agree with, we can always support and see that the information that is in the bureau is correct. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sam, for your time. But before I conclude, did you know, by the way, I'm sure you know, and you urge your clients based on this thing I'm going to talk about right here.
Yes.
We are having a second webinar on Africa credit rating.
I know.
Yeah. So we've been talking about it, and just so you know, the webinar is happening on the 23rd of November.
Yes.
This year. The topic is use of ratings in capital raising and pricing.
Yeah.
Please,
You don't miss this one.
Sure.
Don't miss this one.
Sure. So 23rd of November this year, please join us in discussing matters use of ratings in capital raising and pricing.
Yeah. If you are an SME or you are a lender that is lending to SMEs, don't miss this one.
Thank you, and that would be all for me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Asante
Asante sana.
Okay.
Sure.